This is how dumb they think you are at Reuters. Justice Department, the equipment is called a stabilizing brace. And according to Reuters, according to the DOJ, a stabilizing brace is an attachment to a pistol that functionally turns it into a short barreled rifle similar to a sawed off shotgun. I highlighted that for a reason. It's the second paragraph, it's above the fold, as we call it in the news media, which means you're supposed to see this. And it's put in this order so that you know this is scary. That's why they use the exact wording. What is a stabilizing brace? You don't own a gun, you don't know what it is. It's a rifle. It's a sawed-off shotgun. Notice the words. It turns it into a short-barreled rifle. People don't know what that is. Like a sawed-off shotgun. There is no connection between a sawed-off shotgun, a rifle, or a handgun. They are three entirely different items. They think you are stupid. The only place where a rifle, a handgun, and a shotgun are the same is in a video game that isn't a good one, or a movie. That's it. This is the 9mm. This is the most common, I think today, the most common handgun most people have. 9mm. Do you see how small that is? Do you see? This is all gunpowder. This is the gunpowder that makes this fire over 200 yards. This is the gunpowder that makes this fire maybe 100 yards. Do you notice the difference? That this has way more gunpowder than this. I don't care if you're adding something, you could add anything you want to the handgun. That bullet isn't increasing in the amount of gunpowder it has. It's never going to be a rifle. Never. And by the way, this is a shotgun bullet. And here's the 45, which is right next to, where's the 45? There's the 45, which is a little bit bigger than the 9mm. But you can see in this image here, this is a shotgun bullet. You see all that gunpowder? These are handgun bullets. They're never going to be the same. You're never going to turn, no matter how you want to do it, you cannot take a handgun and turn it into a rifle or a shotgun. Which means that when we go back to this moment of the ATF, this is supposed to make you safe. They are lying to you at every step. It is not the same. So therefore, if it is not the same and they say they are, then they can't make you safe because they're starting from a lie, a fact that is incorrect. So if the facts are wrong, the result is wrong.
Well, this is what government does. Government lies. That's I think that's the number one. It was the last of the founding fathers were in the grave. Every politician since has used the government as a means of controlling. I think the Constitution died with the people that oversaw its creation, and I think that everybody else since then has just paid it lip service. Just to try and get elected based on either their support of it or their willingness to try and change it. Because neither one of them, I think, neither group really gives a shit about it.
They really should. And they should. The Republicans that are in right now, rather than wasting time, you know what they did? You know what's one of their big successes and, the claim to fame? What's one of the first things that they did? They lifted the smoking ban. They lifted the smoking ban in Congress. That's a fact.
For them.
Yes, for them, not for the nation, not for them in Congress. They can now smoke like they used to smoke. Do I care? No. Do the businesses that, and since the smoking bans have been put across the nation, on average, restaurants, bars, most places that had smoking outdoors have lost at least 30% of their business, and it has never recovered. Has that helped any of those businesses? Has it helped anyone who smoked? No. Whether you like it or not, it hasn't helped them. Did they give American citizens and businesses the choice, the freedom that they inherently have to choose to have a bar or restaurant or whatever right here,
Well,
and the
my,
one next to it, one says smoking, the other one says non-smoking.
look, well, that was my gripe with Lauren Boebert 2 years ago when she first got elected to Congress. Because Lauren Boebert is what, 4 foot 11,
Yep.
95 pounds.
Yes.
She's big, Second Amendment advocate, and a lot of
Mhm.
people hate her. A lot of people wish her bad things, wish ill upon her.
Yeah.
So Lauren Boebert said, I'm carrying my gun when I come to Washington, D.C.
As she should.
Well, the police chief of the Washington, D.C., police department said, oh, no, you're not. Handguns are illegal in Washington, D.C. You can't
Bullshit.
carry it here. And the
Bullshit.
Capitol Hill Police Department told her the same thing. You can't carry a gun when you're here. Well, she went and she petitioned. She
Yeah.
petitioned and she fought really, really hard, and she got special dispensation from the Pope herself, Nancy Pelosi, to be able to carry her gun to and from and all around wherever she goes in Washington, D.C. Why didn't she fight for my right to do that?
No, that went through the Supreme Court. But it should have been
But but that's my
obvious.
point. But that's my point. Rules for thee.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first fights they take are the fights that benefit themselves, regardless if it's right or it's left. They're the ones who vote themselves raises without consulting with the American people. They're the ones who will never, I don't give a flying shit how many ballots they put it on, vote themselves into a situation of term limits. They'll never do that. And then they waste their time with the rest of the bullshit they do. Oh, what's the first thing that Kevin McCarthy's going to do once he's Speaker? He's going to go after he's going to defund the 87,000 IRS agents that they put in that he voted for.
Yeah. Well, that's establishment for you.
What the fuck? Excuse my language, my first F bomb of the night, but I think it was necessary to drop it there. How are you going to stand there and tell me that you're going to fight for the American people? You're going to fight for this. You're going to fight for that. And your first act is to say, we're going to write a bill to defund all right, well, okay, great. You're going to write a bill. You're going to have a committee. You have 12 of your little Freedom Caucus buddies over there who all, deal and smoke their cigars now that they're allowed to. And they're going to go and they're going to craft this little bill, and you're going to put it in the House, and it might pass on the 8th vote like your speakership did, maybe the 15th, I'm not sure. But when it leaves Congress, it's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead. Why are you bothering? Why are you bothering wasting America's time and tax money? Right? Why not just come out and say, listen, we really want to get rid of the agents and a lot of the other crap that we put in there. But you know what? The American people didn't give us enough votes that we could take over the House and Senate and ram these pieces of legislation down the president's throat by giving us the ability to override a veto. Instead, they decided that they wanted to lame duck the entire nation for the next 2 years until one party or the other has a decisive enough majority that they can push through what they want to do and maybe have a new president or reelect this piece of shit. Whichever one they were going to do, the American people. No, we're gonna do it this time. We're really gonna pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, and we're gonna fight against everything that we just gave him in the omnibus bill. We're going to stop funding the Ukraine, even though we just gave them another 400 billion. We're going to stop, funding we're going to start funding our wall instead of funding the wall in Saudi Arabia. We're going to stop doing this. We're going to do what? Why? Why not just come out and be honest with the American people and say, listen, the only thing we can really do is prevent bad shit from happening from this day forward. We can't reverse any of the bad shit that already happened because we were part and parcel to them being done because we had to play the political posturing game so we could earn our favors for next cycle, and vote for crap we don't want. In reality, we do, but we're just lame ducks. The only thing we can do is tighten up the purse strings until the optic of us shutting down the government gets played by the media so we look like the bad guy and then we'll capitulate again.
Because, Frank, what you're talking about
Is
is,
honesty.
well, besides honesty, it's making people think about the consequences of what's going on. It's saying, taking you from just a Twitter headline to, oh, and here's the next step. This is the consequence of that action. You're not supposed to think about consequences when it comes to government. Otherwise, none of these people of any party will get reelected because they don't deserve to be reelected. Because the consequences, as we see with the economy and the global stability and our domestic, well, every part of our domestic aspect, national security, income, everything is being destroyed. So they don't want you to think about that. Otherwise, you would never reelect them and they wouldn't raise the money that they need or that they want. They wouldn't have the power that they have. This thing with the ATF, we don't need the Supreme Court to once again say, like the EPA and the CDC, that they cannot create law of their own, just like Biden can't create his own laws, like Obama can't create his own. Hell, even Trump cannot create their own laws. You can't circumvent Congress. If you want this to be a rule, you have to pass a law to do this. And they know they can't. So don't do it. Instead, they're going to go through the law and they're going to try and make people get used to it so that they can eventually make a law that says they can do what they're already doing. They are trying to acclimate people. This isn't, at the end of the day, this is about not you, not me. We're too old. This is about the young kids, the kids who are in high school right now, who don't know any better, who are being told the Second Amendment is about target shooting and hunting. This is about the people who are redefining everything from what is a man, what is a vaccine, what is a woman, to what is your rights. They're redefining everything as fast as possible so that that younger generation will never know what actual freedom is. And they will never know to think. They will know how to obey. Because if you think about any of the things we've talked about so far, you say, well, the consequences have all been bad. None of the promises have come true. Why are we doing this? Why are we wasting our time on this? If you could show me gun control that was effective, then maybe I'd have an argument with you and say, maybe I'd take your side. But I put a challenge out to anyone who's anti 2A, whether it's Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, Cori Bush, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries. I'll even go to Marco Rubio, who supported and tried to pass a red flag law that is unconstitutional and has always been. I will put out an argument to any of them and say, let's have that discussion. Let's have the discussion of consequences to what you're trying to propose. And in each and every, they will never answer. I have never, in 17 years of political commentary, of doing this publicly, I have never had a single anti-Second Amendment person actually take me up and say, let's have this debate. I've asked members of the New York State Assembly, the New York State Senate. I've talked to members of Congress. And every time, oh, you're right. There is no data. There is no proof. This most likely won't work. Even Joe Biden, back under the Obama administration, back when Obama had his 32 executive orders on preventing on gun control that only applied to federal agencies, and the next week after was the Naval Yard shooting incident. So it didn't work. And during that week between Obama putting them forward and the Naval Yard shooting, there was Vice President Joe Biden at the time stood in front of 15 members of the news media. And this is a video clip that has been removed it's been scrubbed from YouTube and Google, but you can find it and go back and search for it. It's very difficult to find, where he says, none of the executive orders will have an impact on gun control, which makes you have to wonder, why did they do it?